So a lot of people probably wonder what constitutes a comically offensive film. And in my opinion, it's a film where the entire premise is so offensive that regardless of the intentions of the film, that no matter what, it's gonna still come out as extremely offensive in some way. Like, think something like Soul Man, where a guy takes tanning pills to become black to get into a black school or a black college. Obviously, the point of the film is like highlight the struggles that black people go through and like a white person experiencing them. It's such a ludicrous concept. Despite the intentions of the film, it still comes off as like stupid racist. On the other hand, I'm not really considering films like Ace Ventura or Soapbox. Like, yes, the ending is super offensive, but for the majority of the movie, that's not really like the entire premise. It doesn't come out till the end. So now that I've like laid out the bare minimum explanation, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right on in to 3 of the most comically offensive films I have ever seen. Okay, first off, we have Loqueesha. This is the most racist film ever made, and it's not even close. In fact, it smugly likes to think it's anti-racist and promoting equality, which is probably the funniest thing about this film. Although, it weirdly probably takes more pot shots at trannies than it does race, but like, this movie is down to its core comically racist. So basically we follow Joe, a divorced bartender who needs like 13 grand to pay for his kid's private school each semester, which like, I don't know anything about private school tuition, but there's no way it's $26,000 a year, right? That's insane. That's like more money than I've made at most of my jobs in a year. That's crazy. But regardless, we see Joe get talked into trying out for a talk radio show position by this black woman he meets at his bar, who will be his crush for the film to prove he's not racist. But after being denied, he tries out instead by putting on a terrible black woman accent and calling himself Loqueesha, and he gets hired because of it. So then the movie follows him around as he tries to keep his identity hidden while he's keeping the show going. Eventually he hires a black woman to play the part of Loqueesha in person when it was necessary, but before long they become so big that he's about to become nationally syndicated, and he realizes he can't keep it up and quits. The woman hired, of course, decides that she's not gonna quit and she'll just take up the place of Loqueesha for real, and of course ruins it before she goes back to him begging for help, admitting that he's a better black woman than her. The movie gets really preachy again, talking about how it's not about race or gender, but treating everyone equally. Truly the most annoying thing about this film is how funnily unpreachy it is while being racist, and being preachy about not being racist. It's very funny, the juxtaposition. But instead of keeping up the ruse when she asks for help, he goes to admit he was Loqueesha to the studio heads. They didn't know this whole time. They thought it was her. And they decide he should just keep it up, but he doesn't like that, so he tells them that he'll tell the truth on air and let people vote if they want him to continue the show as himself. So he goes on air and lets everyone know, and he gives the viewers or the listeners 3 options. He can continue the show as himself, he can continue as Loqueesha, or he can quit. And come to find out, it was a split vote that not only should he do the show as himself, but also Loqueesha. So he continues to do the show as himself, nationally syndicated, while occasionally just busting into Loqueesha voice for parts of it. It's absolutely insane. This entire thing was a passion project to boot by comedian Jeremy Seville. I'm not super familiar with him, but this thing was like written, directed, produced, and starring him. Like, this dude really, really believed in this thing. And I do need to be honest here. As much as I hated this movie, and it was terrible, like, I've seen more racist movies, but the entire plot and concept of this one was so inherently racist down to its core, of a black woman being played by a white guy and him nailing it, apparently doing a terrible black woman impersonation to boot, is just crazy work. But like I was saying, as much as I hate to admit it, if Nick Mullen remade this movie with like the same general premise, I'd probably think it was one of the funniest things of all time. So the issue might be more in presentation than the actual movie. I don't really think there's a way to make this concept without it being racist, but it could surprisingly be worse, I guess. Regardless, it's not a good film, but I highly recommend checking it out just due to the ridiculousness factor of it all. Whew, okay, yeah, next up we have one that is just as bad. We got Jewtopia. And first off, I'll say, I know this one was actually made by a Jewish dude, so it is a case of a community making fun of itself, which I totally get, and I love that. I love shit making fun of trannies, by trannies, usually very funny. It is all in good fun, but goddamn is Jewtopia love making fun of Jews, which seems like a Jewish tradition, but I don't think you can say it's not anti-Semitic just because a Jewish person's saying it. But let me go over the general premise of this film. It's that a Gentile Christian wants to marry a nice Jewish girl because he's fully convinced it will only be a Jewish girl that will make every decision and choice for him in life and tell him what to do and what to think. And honestly, I kind of love that for him. I love a dude who all he wants in life is to turn his brain off and just do whatever his queen tells him to do. Just a great type of guy. But Christian decides he specifically needs a Jewish girl. So he gets back in touch with his old best friend from when he was 12, who was the only Jewish person he ever knew when he was younger, and have him teach him how to be a better Jew. The first half of this movie is kind of par for the course. He does actually meet a Jewish girl, and with his friend's help, he tries to take her out, but he ends up acting too stereotypically Jewish in ways that aren't quite right, and she has no interest in seeing him again. Then we cut to the second half of this film, where it goes just gonzo bananas. He decides that the best way to get back in her good graces would be to get in her mother's good graces, so she will force her daughter to then date him. All of this is, of course, with the help from his friend Adam, which Adam is mainly agreeing to because he's trying to avoid his fiancée as much as possible, who's played by Meadow from The Sopranos. Also, in her storyline, she's getting vaginoplasty because she thinks her vagina's ugly after Adam didn't want to look at it when he was going down on her. He turned the light off first. So there's this scene where they're in a doctor's office and Meadow is holding up a book of pictures of vaginas in front of her own vagina, and it kind of jump scares you out of nowhere. And I can't tell you how that straight scared me. I don't like seeing those things. They scare me. But Christian ends up going full fake Jew to trick this entire family into dating their daughter. He even pretends he's a doctor, not a plumber, and they all completely fall for it. While this is going on with Christian, though, it cuts back to Adam, and we see him getting sent to a mental hospital because he had a full mental breakdown at his wedding rehearsal. He ends up having a breakthrough in therapy that what he really wants is an Asian woman, but feels pressured to have Jewish kids, so he's been trying to get with a Jewish woman. Eventually, Adam's parents go to pick him up from the mental hospital with his fiancée and their parents on his wedding day, but of course when they walk in the room to pick him up, he's in the middle of fucking his Mongolian therapist, and so his wedding gets called off, of course. Back over to Christian, he actually now has Adam coming to help him and take him to the hospital because he decided to get circumcised to really sell the whole Jewish thing before him and the girl that he's been seeing have sex. And I gotta say, I don't agree with a lot of Jewish ideals and actions or anything. And while I'm extremely against genital mutilation on children, gotta say a circumcised dick looks so much better than an uncut one. The Jews really nailed it with that one. Basically only that one, but they really got it down pat. A circumcised cock looks way better. I just think you should have to wait till you're 18 to do it. Regardless, the circumcision goes smoothly, and Adam takes Christian back to his house. Eventually, through a series of shenanigans, everything comes out, and the family finds out he's not Jewish after all, but they actually end up being okay with it, and him and the girl get married, and they become one happy mixed family. And that's kind of how this one ends. Like I said, I know the director and most of the cast also are Jewish, but I don't think that makes this movie not anti-Semitic to its core. But it is mildly funny at times, admittedly, and actually, like, I'd give it a solid, like, I don't know, let's say 6 out of 10. And finally, we have TransAmerican Killer, a movie I've actually made a video on before, but I thought I'd include it with these. So if anyone's interested in that, I'll link it and have a little thing at the end where it links to it. Let me just go over the very quick premise of this one, because it is arguably one of the most transphobic films ever made, and that's saying something. Essentially, a woman named Jamie leaves her abusive boyfriend Bobby and gets with this woman named Brooke because she believes she's gay. She moves out to Vegas to live with her grandma and be a stripper. Bobby decides to fully transition, getting SRS, breast augmentation, and I believe very mild FFS. I believe maybe not on that one, I'm not really sure. Oh, and some reason, despite all this surgery, an incredibly cheap wig, which, like, is crazy work. You're spending, at this point, $100,000 on surgery, and you can't get, like, anything more than a Party City wig. Even I wear, like, more expensive wigs than that. That's crazy work. But Bobby decides this is good enough and goes to hunt down her ex-girlfriend. In true grimy fashion, she uses her evil transsexual privilege to get close to women and have them lower their guard so she can kill them in vulnerable places like private stripper dances or sneak into a woman's bathroom to kill them. She's basically going around killing any woman that's like has even the slightest relationship with Jamie. Oh, and then of course also besides just the women, she uses her wily transsexual ways to trick a man into fucking her. But of course, Bobby eventually confronts Jamie, saying that she's a woman now so they can be together again. Jamie runs away because Bobby is insane, and Jamie also realized earlier in the movie she's not even gay. As Bobby chases her around, she ends up going on a killing spree and eventually corners Jamie. Jamie fights back and wins with a chainsaw. But this entire movie, like, is just so incredibly transphobic down to its core. And I do actually love this movie. I think it's terrible, but it's such, like, perfect, grimy, slimy, early 2000s slasher, like, micro-budget slasher, with just the most baller soundtrack. I kind of love it. I kind of want this to, like, ironically be one of my, like, She's Literally Me films. Except, like, totally not me, because I would never in a billion years get SRS. That's insane to me. I love my junk. And when I get BA, there's no way I'd go so small like her. It's like, go big or go home. We're talking at least get, like, a minimum of size E. Regardless, though, definitely just a movie to play on trans panic that trans women only transition because they're predators trying to gain access to women's spaces or to trick men. Which, realistically, is just, like, the height of narcissism of cis people when you think about it. Because, like, so many of us really just stick to our own and date each other, and we have no interest in them. But they think everything we do revolves around them. Overall, though, this movie is insane, and I'd actually recommend this more than any of the other ones checking out. So yeah, that's like 3 of the most comically offensive films I've ever seen. And if you want to check any of them out, which, like, I recommend, because even though they're terrible, sometimes it's just fun to watch trash. But I know TransAmerican Killer / Switch Killer is on Tubi, and Loqueesha and Jewtopia are both on YouTube, all, like, for free. So, like, seriously, do yourself a favor sometime and just see how bad a movie can get. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, which should be when I'm uploading this or around then, and have a great rest of your day.